My name is Peter Molyneux. I'm the lead designer at Lionhead Studios, and also I'm working on Fable at the moment. Let me tell you a little bit about the hero in Fable. When we first sat down and thought about Fable, we thought we wanted to make a role-playing game. And the point about a role-playing game is that you play a character. Now, normally, you play a character that someone's designed for you, and we wanted to make it so that you played a character that evolved around the way you played the game. Why should I be good just because the designer wants me to be good? Or why should I be evil just because the designer wants me to be evil? Why should I undertake certain quests? Why should I be a magic user? Why should I be a strength user? So the core of what Fable is the idea that you get to play the character that you actually play in the world. So, for example, if you walk into a town and you see someone and they talk to you and they don't respect you, kill them. It's fine. You know, that's an evil thing to do, and your character is going to look more evil. If you feel like saving the princess, you can do, and you'll be more noble and more like a more good. And that's the point of the hero within Fable. He reflects what you're like as a character, rather than you making a choice at the start of the game. The character evolves by the way you play the game, by the quests you undertake, by the experience you get, by the weapons, the type of weapons that you use, by the people that he talks to, by the friends and other heroes he has. Another interesting mechanic in Fable is this idea that you're not the only hero in the world. In a lot of role-playing games, it always really aggravated me is that my character seemed to be the only person in the whole world that realised that something terrible was going on. Why not have a role-playing game where the whole world realises something's going on and there are other heroes competing against you to complete the quest? They want to be more famous than you. And being famous in the hero world is cool. If you're famous and you walk into a town, people will cheer. They'll come out of their houses and they'll give you gifts. If you're in the Fable world and you're evil, you're still famous. People will be scared of you, but you know, you feel really like a hero. You walk into town, everyone runs away, all the crowds part in front of you. So I think how the way the character develops is the way you play the game. What that unlocks in the world can be unique to a lot of people. There are three different attributes of skills. There's strength. That's anything to do with using weapons like swords and axes and hammers. The bigger your sword, the bigger your weapon, the more your muscles will develop. There's range and skill weapons, things like crossbows and long bows, a whole range of different ones of those. That's a different attribute. And then there's the thing called the will, the ability to use magic. And the more you use each of these three, the more they're enhanced. Now, the interesting thing is, firstly, we've got this idea of experience and you deciding how your character is going to evolve by spending that experience, but also the idea that the more you do use a weapon, the better you get at it. And that's one of the other cool things about role-playing games, is feeling like I am the true hero of the sword. I am, you know, the expert in will, or the expert in a crossbow. So the more you use something, the more you unlock different special abilities in that item. One of the things that, one of the surprises, and this is what you do when you're developing a game, you always have to have little surprises up your sleeve, is the idea of multiplayer, cooperative play. I really love the idea that I can play with my friends, and we have the ability in Fable to play up to 4 people can play on one machine cooperatively. And what you do, if you're playing Fable at home, you can take your save game card over to your friends, plug it in. As soon as you've plugged it in, it realises you don't have to restart the game. I could just be sitting back and you walk in the room and say, oh, I'll join in. Just plugs in and is in straight away. No configuration, nothing. What actually happens is when you plug in, your character from your game gets imported into my world. any items that we can trade items, we can do all the things that you'd expect in that. Because your character's imported into my world, he becomes what's called an alter ego to the main character. At any time, I can press the white button, and you can become the main character. Your character can become the main character, and I can become an alter ego, and we can swap like that. Also, as an alter ego, you can fight monsters, you can pick up experience, you can heal the main character. And the more you do that, the more of this score you get. And the more score you have, the more likelihood it is that you can press the white button and take over the main play. So it's a little bit it's very cooperative, but also a little bit competitive. And I think it's quite unique, and certainly the tests we've done so far is quite interesting.